Well, hey everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of Commerce Central. Today with us, we have Mr. Shannon Watson, who is the Career and Technical Education Director for the Lawrence County School System.
Yes.
Shannon, what does that mean?
I'm the CTE Director of Lawrence County Schools, and what CTE stands for is Career and Technical Education.
Right.
So that just basically means that my job is to supervise and provide resources for all of the career and technical teachers that they need to be successful in their classroom. So those classes like welding, cosmetology, nursing ed,
Right.
business classes, agriculture, all of those beautiful programs are my responsibility.
Yeah, and so over the past few years, it's become a topic of discussion that CTE is probably the way we should address the skills gap. Now, addressing the skills gap is something that everyone's trying to do. I would argue, and of course, part of our job as an economic development organization is to communicate how we're meeting that so that new businesses and existing businesses will grow here. And when we talk about our CTE programs, we do talk a lot about let's say the welding is one, engineering is another one with Samantha Childress at Lawrence County High School, for example.
Right.
We were there last Friday talking to Skills USA. So, the chamber is very involved in CTE, but again, the topic has come back to the top of community conversations everywhere. But what's cool is Lawrence County's kind of been doing it for a while. So tell us about the history of how we got to where we are with CTE in Lawrence County schools today.
So, my history is I was a business teacher for 17 years prior to be pulled over to be over the career and technical program. So even all those years that I was in education, we had such a strong partnership with businesses and the chamber.
Yep.
So I feel like for us as Lawrence County Schools, it's kind of been the way we've played the game the whole time.
Right.
Like we have, just like all other CTE programs across the state are supposed to have advisory councils. Those people are the business people they are a customer. We are providing them with a product, which is our graduates.
Yep.
That's the employment pipeline. And so as career and technical director and as educators of the trades and all of that, those communication opportunities to me has been key.
Yeah.
And we have constantly taken our educators on tours of business and industry. So we've kind of kept our teachers outside of the four walls, so to speak, to where they're seeing firsthand, not just me as the director or whatever. We've got buy-in from our teachers and our administration, meaning that our admin goes in and visits with industry. That as well as our civic clubs, we have opportunities to speak and learn from each other. And I feel like that communication has been key to the success and trying to fill those gaps. Now, is there room for improvement?
Sure.
Always. We were, just this morning talking about, what that looks like if we were to have a career coach, which is a big goal of mine, to have a career coach housed at each high school. What that looks like, and trying to make those programs such as plumbing and electrical, where kids can start their own business and make $75,000 immediately with zero debt. That's kind of where we've got to make those programs appealing to the kids and really make sure they understand why it's important to go into this, and also just to make sure that they're plugged into an area that they're passionate about, so they don't work a day in their life.
Well, right, and there's lots to unpack there. You mentioned something that reminded me of, you can't. It's hard to teach a fish to climb a tree, right? And every student has different passions and different areas of interest, and I think CTE provides that outlet to at least explore, to see.
What it's about.
Yeah, maybe it's where I want to go, or maybe I learned this isn't where I want to go.
Right.
My experience in CTE in Lawrence County Schools, I was in business and in the health sciences a lot, and I really valued my health science education, and I can't say I don't use it. Like I feel like I did okay in anatomy, for example, but so I know if I'm hurting, like what's hurting. But to that point, like the idea of realizing, oh, that's not really where I want to make a living, and so that's something that's I think is interesting about our school. Something else, we say this all the time. while other communities and systems are trying to get it up and going again. Like we've just been throwing gasoline on it.
Right.
So talk to us a little bit about how we're getting programs out, not just at Lawrence County High School, but maybe Loretto or Summertown as well.
So that is a great question, Ryan, because we, just reflecting on just in the past 4 years, we've added 3 programs, 3 CTE programs, 2 to Summertown High School, 1 to Loretto High School, and that's about equality.
Yeah.
So that's been a kind of like a goal for me as director is what is it going to take for Summertown students to have the same opportunity as Lawrence County High School students, and then the same thing for Loretto students.
So no matter what school that I send my kid to in Lawrence County schools, I'm gonna have the same opportunity there, right?
That's the goal.
Yeah.
But in all reality, you've got so many more students enrolled at Lawrence County High School. So when you look at the dollars and you look at that, but we have other opportunities that, in my eyes, where the students can go to TCAT, like during the school day at Summertown. Summertown High School students can drive over their spring semester to TCAT Hohenwald, and they can take any of their programs, right?
Yeah.
But Loretto, we've got 2 TCAT programs housed on their campus.
Gotcha.
Right? We've got 2 TCAT programs housed at Summertown.
Yep.
Lawrence County High School only has 1 TCAT program, but we do have dual credit with welding. So I know that's kind of confusing,
Sure.
but we still have those post-secondary opportunities. And then we do the same in all the business classes where we've got, an articulation agreement with Columbia State on MOS certifications. If our kids pass them all, they automatically get all of those industry tests in MOS. They automatically get that 3-hour credit.
So there's a lot of outcome measures you're talking about, and I'm hearing things such as dual credit. I'm hearing things like dual enrollment, industry certifications being one. I want to come back to industry certs in a second. But I was talking to somebody in a neighboring county, I think it was about a week or 2 ago, and we were talking about, what metrics do we use to measure quality programs and effectiveness of programs, and historically what we look at are things such as graduation rate and college going rate and things about what people are doing next in their lives. One of my favorite, ACT may be in there, but those are kind of, I would argue, tertiary or secondary to like literacy rate or math and science proficiency. But when you look and dig down into CTE, I really like job placement rate.
Yep.
So can you talk to us about job placement and industry certifications real quick?
I can. As I said at the very beginning, I feel like we have got amazing programs. I feel like our programs are top notch in the state of Tennessee. I feel like we rank right up there at the very top. But there's always room for improvement, and job placement is where that's at.
Really?
So, our workforce development coordinator and I were discussing this actually this week about what it looks like for us to add to our website a portal for students to be able to go and look for jobs, and it's just basically becoming a job placement agency. Now, our TCAT programs that are housed on our campuses, that's part of that program is job placement. So when those kids can take the program, they graduate high school, and they turn back around and enroll. Well, they finish the program in 6 months or a year, depending on how many credits they accrue. But in the end, that TCAT instructor, part of their evaluation is on job placement for their graduates. So I feel like that's great. That's wonderful. Yeah. But I feel like that's kind of where we, as a CTE program, can improve on, and we can expand. Yeah. And that's kind of that discussion is taking place right now.
Well, it's one of my favorite statistics. I think I used it not long ago, but 40% of TCAT Pulaski's total enrollment are Lawrence Countyans, which is a really cool statistic.
Yeah, I like that.
But of the programs that TCAT Pulaski offer, I know the welding program, for example, at Loretto, maybe 95 or 100% job placement rate. And I think that's where the rubber meets the road.
Yep.
And I'm very excited to hear this. Our school systems are looking to do that.
We are.
But I also, again, just equipping students for success, those industry certifications, I can't overstate their importance in building a resume, giving hands-on experience. So what all industry certs do you offer?
We have, in my eyes, I feel like we have a robust industry cert program. but there's always room for improvement. I always want to seek more. My goal as director is for every single program that we offer to have an industry cert and a dual credit, dual enrollment option.
Gotcha.
I want both. That is, to me, I feel like that is what we're called to do. We're called to get, not only just get those kids enrolled in our programs, but to have a plan. To have a plan. So the industry certs that we offer right now, we offer OSHA 10. We offer CNA. So in our nursing ed classes, we have EMS. Well, it's EMR, but it's in the EMS class.
Right.
Makes no sense. But anyway, that's the class is EMS, the cert is EMR. So that is a program actually that we are bringing back because we had an EMS program for years. And for whatever reason, because you've got to have a paramedic come in and teach the skills, that kind of went away. But we're bringing that back. And now it has actually this past semester at Lawrence County High School, great success.
Cool.
Those kids will sit for their testing this spring.
Nice.
So CNA, OSHA 10, we have MOS and all of the different focus areas. Excel, PowerPoint, Word. Kids are very successful in that. You know, we do really well with that. And no matter what a student is going to do, those skills are so important. You know, that to me is definitely a plus for a student in their portfolio. So we've got a lot. We've got in our automotive program, we have a maintenance and light repair cert that we can offer. We had a new teacher last year, so this year he's bringing that that back. So the teacher has to have so much experience to be able to do that. So we have a drone program. There is a drone certification.
That's cool.
Through our ag. That is through our ag programs. We have actually partnered for the first time with TCAT Crump.
Okay.
And so we are offering dual credit to students at our high schools. That and part of that includes a piece of drone training and certification. Now, what we're looking to add, which I think is very important, is we hope to be purchasing some gently used forklifts.
Nice.
And add the forklift certification to our students.
That would be huge.
So that will be in, that can be a cross-curriculum project too, because it can be your advanced manufacturing students, those welding students, or agriculture, or construction. You know, our building trades classes, you know, when you've got high school kids building a house every year for an individual, you know, that's huge. But adding a little extra beef to it, so to speak, you know, because there's so many jobs where they need to know how to work a forklift and how to operate it. So we're adding that certification next year.
I wish that was there when I was in high school. That'd be cool.
Right.
So let's switch gears, and there's something else from something you said previously. I think there's a cosmetology program. There's obviously business, but you mentioned like plumbing, electrical, construction. You know, we talk a lot about entrepreneurship and creating like a good climate to start a business here in Lawrence County. But trades are actually an opportunity for a student to be entrepreneurial.
Absolutely.
And that's, you know, I'm a product of the business program, for example, that you taught. Full disclosure, like not only is Shannon my aunt, but she's also my business teacher. But talk a little bit now personally about your experience doing business in Lawrence County, because the Watson family has been great for the chamber for many years, even before I started working here. Great members, community involved. Tell us about your businesses and what y'all do and how that kind of helps you in your current position.
So my family, my husband and I own Crockett Cinemas here in Lawrenceburg, and we also own USAVE Car and Truck Rental, and then my husband also has a construction company. So we have lots of irons in the fire, but with that said, we see amongst our businesses so many skills that our kids need. And that gets me excited because I can take that experience and go back to speak it to a group of students and talk about that and talk about the entrepreneurial piece to it and what that looks like, the marketing. Any business needs marketing. You know, it can be a construction company and they need a good marketing plan. They
Right.
need that whole plan lined up for them. So with our businesses and what we do in Lawrence County, we see a lot of different skill sets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the movies, you have hospitality, and then with construction, obviously, there's the construction trades, and and as the inventory manager at the car wash place, right? Like that's what we do. If you want to add that, embellish that title.
Let's go.
Yes.
Wash cars for years, but it's interesting to watch that, and it's. I mean, y'all have. I really provided so many students the opportunity to have jobs over the years, because that's kind of the target, right? That's something that I think our programs also do really well. I think there was a survey, Hope shared with me the results about students that work. Do you know the results off the top of your head?
It increased. It increased a little bit.
Yeah, I can't remember.
40. I want to say that we went from like a 36% to 41 or 42% of our high school students are employed.
Yeah.
And that is a survey we do every year, and we honor our students that have jobs, because it is great. You know, that's a group of kids that most of those students, because they're working, they can't participate in sports, band, or whatever. So this will be probably the 4th year that we've recognized our students that have a job.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, we have an increase in that. And to loop that back around to the previous question about our businesses and what that looks like, I feel like Daryl, now with my job, I back off a lot of it. Daryl takes care of a lot of it. But the students that come to work for us at Crockett Cinemas, most of those students, that's their first job. So he does not take that lightly, because he wants to mold those kids into being responsible workers. That is very important. I feel like the expectations of an employer needs to be understood, and it needs to be. And I'm proud to say we've owned that theater for 10 years.
That's wild.
And I think we've only had, in 10 years, we've only had to let go of 2 people. Yeah. Most of those students that start with us when they're in high school, they stay till they graduate college. We bring them back when they're home on breaks. Yeah. And I love that. And I think that's great for us and for them too.
Oh, no doubt. So something we talk about a lot, though, is not just having skilled trades, but what kind of quality of life that students want to have. And for example, I live in Lawrence County, Tennessee, because I love Lawrence County, Tennessee. My family's here. Me too. I love where we're geographically located, and the whole thing. And so when we're talking to kids about, okay, maybe I want to be a nurse or a plumber or a entrepreneur, I have to have an honest conversation about, okay, do I want to live like the downtown Nashville lifestyle? Do I want to live in the sticks? And that's just the honest conversation.
Right.
Is our school system doing anything to kind of facilitate that conversation or promote that conversation in any way?
I feel like more needs to be done. I feel like our people that are in the roles that would have those conversations are so busy with other requirements that are placed on us in the world of education. Yeah. But Ryan, those classroom teachers are having those conversations. When we get career coaches at each of the schools, there will be more of that. Yeah. And that is, as I've said before, that is a focus and a goal of mine, that I want a conversation to be had with every student every year. Where are you at with your classes? Where are you at with your interest? Yeah. Are you, do we need to shift your classes to where you maybe have a different focus, because you were in these health science classes and then you discovered you can't stand the sight of blood. So we need to pivot. Yeah. What does that look like? What are you interested in? And so one part of that, Ryan, is doing lots of career exploration younger. Gotcha. So we have a K through 12, career exploration program. Yeah. We have a K through 12 STEM program. We have lots of different things going on, but there needs to be follow through. There needs to be follow up and follow through on creating those plans for those kids and what it's going to take to get them where they really want to go. Yeah. We have a lot of students that Lawrence County is all they've ever seen. That that's why I feel so strongly about taking these kids on industry tours and getting outside of Lawrence County just to see. Yeah. But we want those kids to come back here and work and have wonderful lives. Yeah. Right here in Lawrence County, and be part of our workforce. And so those conversations need to be more, they need to be intentional.
Yeah.
They need to be intentional. I don't believe in just checking boxes, but in this case, I feel like that's important with our students. And I feel like, this morning I was listening to a virtual career fair, and there was a pharmacist, a female pharmacist who has her doctorate in pharmacy. She was listening to Ryan Evers of Evers Construction, give them a plug here. She was listening to Ryan speak prior to her speaking.
Yeah.
And she has her doctorate in pharmacy. Wonderful, great partner of us. She comes in and helps with our pharmacology classes.
Right.
Great. But she said, I was listening to that thinking about, construction employees can make as much money as I do.
Yeah.
And I have so much debt. I have lots of debt left, and I've been in this profession. She's like, I've been in this profession for so many years, but I'm still paying off my debt.
Yeah.
What our students need to understand, and again, that's a lot of responsibility on teachers, is to have those conversations that this is what you can do. You can do this debt free. You can go to TCAT for free and finish.
Right.
Finish that. Finish that certificate. Finish that program, and then use those entrepreneurial skills and start a business for your own. Build your own team of bricklayers or whatever, So that was neat today to hear her say that.
I hope it sent us all a text and said it was just awesome. And I of course, it's weird. That's virtual career fair, right? But I think that's just another way to communicate to students. And so, again, I don't think anyone does it better than Lawrence County Schools. And I'm not saying that, one, because I'm a product, or two, because I guess we're paid to say that as the chamber. But, literally, we've got it going on, and people across the state look to us for that. And so, Shannon, your leadership has been awesome to watch, especially over the last few years, I guess, after we both got into new worlds from the classroom, and then I guess wherever I was before that, which I guess was also the classroom.
Yeah,
but but to that end of the episode, we have a tradition here.
Okay.
And I probably should have given you a heads up, but
Ryan,
I didn't. I'm
what
sorry.
are you about to do?
We have something called Word of the Day, and we don't really know why we do it. It's just basically you say a single word, and we're going to put it on the bottom of the screen around here, the definition, and it's just, I guess, a way to expand everyone's vocabulary and see what's on everybody's mind. As an example, eclectic was Cameron Hoffmeyer's. Cameron Sexton, Speaker of the House, was opportunity. Prosperity. Beth Keaton's was passion. So just just a word, and then why. That's your word for today.
So I'm going to use a word that I have used in this interview. I'm going to say intentional.
Okay.
Because I think the decisions that we make, I feel like the words that we say in front of our students, to our students, with me and my job, to my teachers.
Yep.
We all need to be very intentional with what we share, and intentional with our passions. Can I throw that in?
Yeah, that's good. That's
because,
good.
I think about the stepping stones to where I am today.
Yeah.
And I think about being a senior at Lawrence County High School, standing in a business class going, oh my goodness, I don't know what I want to do, where I want to go. I think back to a day when I was a senior thinking, oh my goodness. So intentional is my word, because I really feel like that's should be a goal for us all, is to be more intentional.
Perfect. I like that. Everyone has such good words. Such good words.
Hey, one of these days you're going to have to do one.
I guess so.
Ryan,
I guess when me and you do another one, I'll have to flip the script.
There you go. There you go.
Or not. We'll see. We'll see. Well, hey, thank you everyone for joining us on this week's episode of Commerce Central. Join us next Wednesday for the next.
Bang.
That was good, Shannon.